For God's sake, Martha, it's 2 o'clock in the... Well, I'm sorry, but it's late, you know? Late? How would I know what... Martha, what's what from? I haven't the faintest idea what... I can't remember all the pictures that... Somebody... What actor? What scar? Chicago. It's called Chicago. The picture, it's called Chicago. Well, that was probably before my time, but... She works in a grocery store? Are they married? Oh. I really don't know, Martha. I'm tired, dear. It's late. And besides, well, I'm tired. If your father didn't set up these goddamn Saturday night orgies all the time, well, that's how it is anyway. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to act like you? Do you want me to go around all night braying at everybody the way you do? All right, you don't bray. All right, I said you didn't bray. What? Well, I don't suppose a nightcap would kill either one of us. We've got what? Guests. When? Good Lord, Martha, do you know what time? Who's coming over? Who? What's their name? Who are these people? I don't remember meeting anyone tonight. And good looking? It figures. Oh, yes, I guess so, Martha. But why in God's name are they coming over here now? Oh, Lord. But why now? It's after 2 o'clock in the morning. And yes, but I'm sure your father didn't mean we were supposed to stay up all night with these people. I mean, we could have them over some Sunday or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right. Well, where are they? If we've got guests, where are they? What'd they do, go home and get some sleep first or something? I wish you'd tell me about something sometime. I wish you'd stop springing things on me all the time. Yes, you do. You really do. You're always springing things on me. Always. Never mind, Martha. Just don't bother yourself. It was all right, Martha. I smiled. I didn't laugh my head off. I smiled, you know. It was all right. It was all right. It was very funny, yes. What? That wasn't a very nice thing to say, Martha. A very nice thing to say. Guts? I always put ice in your drink. You eat it, that's all. It's that habit you have, chewing your ice cubes like a cocker spaniel. You'll crack your big teeth. Some of them. 2 more. I suppose it is. I suppose it's pretty remarkable considering how old you are. I'm 6 years younger than you are. I always have been and I always will be. So are you. Hello, honey. Oh, now. I don't want to kiss you, Martha. Where are these people? Where are these people you invited over? Well, dear, if I kissed you, I'd get all excited. I'd get beside myself and I'd take you by force, right here on the living room rug. And then our little guests would walk in and, well, just think what your father would say about that. Oink, oink. My God, you can swill it down, can't you? Jesus. Martha, I gave you the prize years ago. There isn't an abomination award going that you haven't won. Well, just stay on your feet, that's all. These people are your guests, you know, and if you pass out or throw up or something, and try to keep your clothes on, too. There aren't many more sickening sights than you with a couple of drinks in you and your skirt up over your head. Your heads, I should say. I'm really looking forward to this, Martha. You answer it. To you. All right, love. Whatever love wants. Isn't it nice the way some people have manners, though? Isn't it nice that some people won't just come breaking into other people's houses, even if they do hear some subhuman monster yowling at them from inside? Ah, you must be our little guests. Anywhere, furniture, floor, doesn't make any difference around this place. Martha. Martha's a devil with language. She really is. Some Greek with a mustache Martha attacked one night in a quiet intensity? Oh, well then a certain noisy, relaxed quality, maybe. How about a quietly noisy, relaxed intensity? I am sorry. What it is, actually, is it's a pictorial representation of the order of Martha's mind. Brandy. Just brandy. Simple. Simple. What about you? Mine? No, I don't mind. I don't think I mind. Martha, rubbing alcohol for you? Martha's tastes in liquor have come down, simplified over the years, crystallized. Back when I was courting Martha, well, I don't know if that's exactly the right word for it, but back when I was courting Martha, at any rate, back when I was courting Martha, she'd order the damnedest things. You wouldn't believe it. We'd go into a bar. You know, a bar, a whiskey, beer, and bourbon bar. And what she'd do would be, she'd screw up her face, think real hard, and come up with brandy Alexanders, creme de cacao frappes, gimlets, flaming punch bowls, 7-layer liqueur things, real ladylike little drinkies. But the years have brought to Martha a sense of essentials, the knowledge that cream is for coffee, lime juice for pies, and alcohol, pure and simple. Here you are, Angel, for the pure and simple. For the mind's blind eye, the heart's ease, and the liver's craw down the hatch all. Vulgar girl, with guests here. Lord, Martha, do we have to go through this again? Martha didn't think I laughed loud enough. Martha thinks that unless, as she demurely puts it, that unless you bust a gut, you aren't amused, you know? Unless you carry on like a hyena, you aren't having any fun. And you'd better believe it. I'm not trying to tear him down. He's a god. We all know that. Yes, love. All I mean is when you've had as many of these faculty parties as I have. Let me tell you a secret, baby. There are easier things in the world if you happen to be teaching at a university. There are easier things than being married to the daughter of the president of that university. There are easier things in this world. There are, believe me, easier things in this world. Alas, Martha, in reality, it works out that the sacrifice is usually of a somewhat more private portion of the anatomy. Martha, Martha, won't you show her where we keep the euphemism? All right. Okay, Martha, okay, just trot along. Okay, vanish, vanish. So what'll it be? Not what you're drinking over at Parnassus? Parnassus. Skip it. One bourbon. It's just a private joke between little old Martha and me. So you're in the math department, huh? Martha said you were. I think that's what she said. What made you decide to be a teacher? What were they? I said, what were they? What were the things that motivated me? You just finished saying that the things that motivated you were the same things that motivated me. Oh, did you? Well, you like it here? I mean the university. Yes, I can see you did. I meant the university. What? Oh, yes. Ever since I married, what's her name? Martha. Even before that. Forever. Dashed hopes and good intentions. Good, better, best. Bested. How do you like that for a declension, young man? You didn't answer my question. Don't you condescend to me. I asked you how you like that for a declension. Good, better, best, bested. Well, you really don't know what to say. Very good, very good. Now, calm down, my boy. Just calm down, all right? You want another drink? Here, give me your glass. Here, I'll freshen it. Give me your glass. Martha and I are having nothing. Martha and I are merely exercising, that's all. We're merely walking what's left of our wits. Don't pay any attention to it. Well, now, let's sit down and talk, huh? Well, you'll get over that. Small college and all. Musical beds is the faculty sport around here. I said musical beds is the faculty... Never mind. I wish you wouldn't go, sir, like that. Not with the question mark at the end of it, you know? Sir, I know it's meant to be a sign of respect for your elders, but the way you do it, sir, madam, how old are you? I'm 40, something. Aren't you surprised? I mean, don't I look older? Doesn't this gray quality suggest the 50s? Don't I sort of fade into backgrounds, get lost in the cigarette smoke, huh? I've always been lean. I haven't put on 5 pounds since I was your age. I don't have a paunch either. What I've got this little distension just below the belt. But it's hard. It's not soft flesh. I use the handball courts. How much do you weigh? 155, 60, something like that? Do you play handball? Well, then we shall play sometime. Martha is 108 years old. She weighs somewhat more than that. How old is your wife? Martha is a remarkable woman. I would imagine she weighs around 110. No, my boy, your wife. My wife is Martha. If you were married to Martha, you would know what it means. But then if I were married to your wife, I would know what that means too, wouldn't I? Martha says you're in the math department or something? Martha is seldom mistaken. Maybe you should be in the math department or something. No. Oh, you're the one. You're the one's going to make all that trouble. Making everyone the same. Rearranging the chromosomes or whatever it is. Isn't that right? I'm very mistrustful. Do you believe that people learn nothing from history? Not that there is nothing to learn, mind you, but that people learn nothing? I am in the history department. I am a doctor. A.B., M.A., Ph.D. Abmafid. Abmafid has been variously described as a wasting disease of the frontal lobes and as a wonder drug. It is actually both. I'm really very mistrustful. Biology, huh? I read somewhere that science fiction is really not fiction at all. That you people are rearranging my genes so that everyone will be like everyone else. Now, I won't have that. It would be a shame. I mean, look at me. Is it really such a good idea if everyone was 40-something and looked 55? You didn't answer my question about history. Oh, that's very upsetting, very disappointing. But history is a great deal more disappointing. I am in the history department. I know I told you. I shall probably tell you several more times. Martha tells me often that I'm in the history department, as opposed to being the history department, in the sense of running the history department. I do not run the history department. You're 21, 28. Perhaps when you're 40-something and look 55, you will run the history department, the biology department. I did run the history department for 4 years during the war, but that was because everybody was away. Then everybody came back because nobody got killed. That's New England for you. Isn't that amazing? Not one single man in this whole place got his head shot off. That's pretty irrational. Your wife doesn't have any hips, has she? Does she? I don't mean to suggest that I'm hip-happy. I'm not one of those 36, 22, 78 men. No, sirree, not me. Everything in proportion. I was implying that your wife is slim-hipped. What are they doing up there? I assume that's where they are. Not one son of a bitch got killed. Of course, nobody bombed Washington. No, that's not fair. You have any kids? That's for me to know and you to find out. No kids, huh? People do have kids. That's what I meant about history. You people are going to make them in test tubes, aren't you, you biologists? Babies. Then the rest of us, them as wants to, can screw to their heart's content. But you are going to have kids anyway, in spite of history. And this is your heart's content? Illyria, Penguin Island, Gomorrah. You think you're going to be happy here in New Carthage, huh? And every definition has its boundaries, huh? Well, it isn't a bad college, I guess. I mean, it'll do. It isn't MIT, it isn't UCLA, it isn't the Sorbonne, or Moscow U either, for that matter. Well, don't you let that get bandied about. The old man wouldn't like it. Martha's father expects loyalty and devotion out of his staff. I was going to use another word. Martha's father expects his staff to cling to the walls of this place like the ivy, to come here and grow old, to fall in the line of service. One man A professor of Latin and elocution actually fell in the cafeteria line one lunch. He was buried, as many of us have been, and as many more of us will be, under the shrubbery around the chapel. It is said, and I have no reason to doubt it, that we make excellent fertilizer. But the old man is not going to be buried under the shrubbery. The old man is not going to die. Martha's father has the staying power of one of those Micronesian tortoises. There are rumors, which you must not breathe in front of Martha, for she foams at the mouth, that the old man, her father, is over 200 years old. There is probably an irony involved in this, but I am not drunk enough to figure out what it is. How many kids you going to have? Slim-hipped. Have a drink. Martha! Damn it! You asked me if I knew women? Well, one of the things I do not know about them is what they talk about while the men are talking. I must find out sometime. Isn't that a wonderful sound? What I mean is, what do you think they really talk about? Or don't you care? Do you find women puzzling? Uh-huh. Oh, well, here's one of you at least. Martha! She's what? She's changing? Her clothes? Why? Oh, she does she? You don't know. So she wants to be comfortable, does she? Well, we'll see about that. What? She told you about him? She told you about him. You say she's changing. And she mentioned. Okay, Martha. Okay, Martha. Oh, yes, by all means. Drink away. You'll need it as the years go on. You goddamn destructive. For what? You keeping the babysitter up or something? Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't even listening. Or thinking. Whichever one applies. Oh, no, now you mustn't. Martha is changing. And Martha is not changing for me. Martha hasn't changed for me in years. If Martha is changing, it means we'll be here for days. You are being accorded an honor. And you must not forget that Martha is the daughter of our beloved boss. She is his right ball, you might say. Really? Well, you're quite right. We'll leave that sort of talk to Martha. There you are, my pet. Why, Martha, your Sunday chapel dress. We got lonely, darling. We got lonely for the soft purr of your little voice. And make your little mommy a great big drink. Well, we did actually, if you really want to know. What we did actually is try to figure out what you two were talking about. Oh, I wouldn't have listened, Martha. I would have peeked. And now we'll never know. Shucks. That's very impressive. I said I was impressed, Martha. I'm beside myself with jealousy. What do you want me to do, throw up? That really is very impressive. You should be right proud. I wouldn't be surprised if you did take over the history department one of these days. The biology department, of course. I seem preoccupied with history. Oh, what a remark. I am preoccupied with history. I think I'll make myself a drink. Because he is not the history department, but is only in the history department. We know, Martha. We went all through it while you were upstairs getting up. There's no need to go through it again. Yes, Martha, can I get you something? No, there are limits. I mean, man can put up with only so much without he descends a rung or two on the old evolutionary ladder, which is up your line. Sinks, Martha. And it's a funny ladder. You can't reverse yourself. Start back up once you're descending. Now, I'll hold your hand when it's dark and you're afraid of the boogeyman, and I'll tote your gin bottles out after midnight so no one will see, but I will not light your cigarette. And that, as they say, is that. Yes, Martha. Martha, decency forbids. Martha, your obscenity is more than... Would you like to take a walk around the garden? You're amused. All right. Christ. You tell them, Martha, you're good at it. You did. Pal, you did. Oh, I've had it a while. Did you like that? You like that, did you? Later, sweetie. Oh, that's what you're after. What are we going to have? Blue games for the guests? Everything in its place, Martha. Everything in its own good time. Here, let me show you. It goes back in like this. Drinks now. Drinks for all. Probably. Did you really think I was going to kill you, Martha? Well, now I might, someday. Through the hall there and down to your left. Yeah, sure, why not? We've got half-filled glasses everywhere in the house. Wherever Martha forgets she's left them. In the freezer, on the edge of the bathtub. I even found one in the linen closet once. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Brandy doesn't give you a hangover? Oh, that's good. Your husband was telling me all about the chromosomes. The chromosomes, Martha, the genes or whatever they are. You've got quite a terrifying husband. No, really, he's quite terrifying with his chromosomes and all. No, Martha, he's a biologist. You did, Martha. Abstract. You're obsessed with that phrase, Martha. It's ugly. In my mind, Martha, you are buried in cement right up to your neck. No, right up to your nose. That's much quieter. Martha eats them for breakfast. She sprinkles them on her cereal. It's very simple, Martha. This young man is working on a system whereby chromosomes can be altered. Well, not all by himself. He probably has one or two co-conspirators. The genetic makeup of a sperm cell changed, reordered. To order, actually, for hair and eye color, stature, potency, I imagine, hairiness, features, health, and mind. Most important, mind. All imbalances will be corrected, sifted out. Propensity for various diseases will be gone. Longevity assured. We will have a race of men, test tube bred, incubator born, superb and sublime. But everyone will tend to be rather the same, alike. Everyone, and I'm sure I'm not wrong here, will tend to look like this young man here. It will, on the surface of it, be all rather pretty, quite jolly. But of course there will be a dank side to it too. A certain amount of regulation will be necessary for the experiment to succeed. A certain number of sperm tubes will have to be cut. Millions upon millions of them. Millions of tiny little slicing operations that will leave just the smallest scar on the underside of the scrotum, but which will assure the sterility of the imperfect, the ugly, the stupid, the unfit. With this, we will have, in time, a race of glorious men. I suspect we will not have much music, much painting, but we will have a civilization of men smooth, blonde, and right at the middleweight limit. A race of scientists and mathematicians, each dedicated to and working for the greater glory of the super civilization. There will be a certain loss of liberty, I imagine, as a result of this experiment. But diversity will no longer be the goal. Cultures and races will eventually vanish. The ants will take over the world. And I, naturally, am rather opposed to all this. History, which is my field, history of which I am one of the most famous bogs, will lose its glorious variety and unpredictability. Aye, and with me, the surprise, the multiplexity, the sea-changing rhythm of history will be eliminated. There will be order and constancy, and I am unalterably opposed to it. I will not give up Berlin. There is a saloon in West Berlin where the bar stools are 5 feet high, and the earth, the floor, is so far below you. I will not give up things like that. No, I won't. I will fight you, young man. One hand on my scrotum, to be sure, but with my free hand, I will battle you to the death. The most profound indication of a social malignancy, no sense of humor. Read history. I know something about history. I know something about history. I know when I'm being threatened. What? Son? Oh, Martha, when is our son coming home? No, I want to know. You brought it out into the open. When is he coming home, Martha? Him up, not it. You brought him up. Well, more or less. When's the little bugger going to appear, huh? I mean, isn't tomorrow meant to be his birthday or something? But Martha, I'll bet you don't. Martha does not want to talk about it. Him. Martha is sorry she brought it up. Him. Yes, Martha, since you had the bad taste to bring the matter up in the first place, when is the little bugger coming home? The little bugger has problems. What problems has a little bugger got? I've never heard of anything more ridiculous in my life. My God, you're a wicked woman. A deeply wicked person. Martha's lying. I want you to know that right now. Martha's lying. There are very few things in this world that I am sure of. National boundaries, the level of the ocean, political allegiances, practical morality, none of these things would I stake my stick on anymore. But the one thing in this whole sinking world that I am sure of is my partnership, my chromosomological partnership in the creation of our blonde-eyed, blue-haired son. Thank you, Martha. Martha knows. She knows better. Martha been to college. Martha been to a convent when she were a little twig of a thing, too. Not an atheist, Martha. A pagan. Martha is the only true pagan on the eastern seaboard. And Martha paints blue circles around her things. Tut, tut, tut. Nonsense. Everybody's ready, I think. He has blue eyes, Martha. Blue, Martha. Make up your mind, Martha. He does not. Your father has tiny red eyes, like a white mouse. In fact, he is a white mouse. You know that great shock of white hair and those little beady red eyes? A great big white mouse. Inadequacies. We need some more booze, Angel. Thank you. And along came George bearing hooch. What are you doing now, Martha? All righty. That's right. And younger than you, by 6 years. Yes, she did. You should have seen it. She'd sit outside of my room on the lawn at night, and she'd howl and claw at the turf. I couldn't work. Martha's a romantic at heart. Just a minute, Martha. Just a minute, Martha. Stop it, Martha! I thought you were telling the story of our courtship, Martha. I didn't know you were going to start in on the other business. I wouldn't if I were you. Now, you've already sprung a leak about you-know-what. About the apple of our eye, the sprout, the little bugger, our son. And if you start in on this other business, I warn you, Martha, it's going to make me angry. I warn you. I warn you. Stop it, Martha! I said stop, Martha. Don't go on, Martha. Don't, Martha, don't! I said don't! All right. Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Virginia Woolf, Virginia Woolf. Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Early in the morning.